Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna tell you about how I got 2 contracts in one day, and then like within 2 days, I have 0 contracts. And what happened, and how it happened, and all of the things. Let's go. All right, y'all, I am filming this outside in my backyard, so people are deciding to mow their grass and weed whack, and there's nature, and I have my dogs, and my child likes to smear her face on my white cushions, and I've just kind of given up at this point. Eventually I will clean them again. It's just a lot of work, okay? And I'm outside because she's sleeping. My child is an anomaly, and she sleeps till like 10:30 in the morning. I lay her down at 8:30, she sleeps till like 10:30, and then she naps from like 1 to 5. I don't know, okay? I don't know. So if my baby don't get her beauty rest, she is a bear. So we're gonna leave her go in the house, and we're just gonna be outside, and we're gonna have this video on my back patio because I wanted to tell you about something that happened like to me this last weekend. Real estate is a roller coaster. I feel like so many people watch HGTV. I know Selling Sunset is like a huge thing right now on Netflix, and I'm like totally in love. So I'm not bashing the show because I love the show. But you know, you see in the corner it says like commission is $50,000, commission is $130,000, and so people are like, oh my gosh, real estate agents make so much money. And like, what do they even do? Just put a sign in the yard? So easy. That's a lie. Okay? And we're just gonna bring some relevance to the story before we even get there. And I'm gonna explain to you how real estate agents even get paid. Myself as a realtor, I do not get paid until we go to the closing table, or if I'm doing a lease, if we get accepted into contract, you pay your deposits, you move in, then I get paid. Way that I get paid is typically the listing agent with a sale will negotiate with the seller what the buyer's agent will get paid. It's very typical to have a 6% and then a 3% split. So then I would be getting a 3% of the sale price of the home. But what people are not thinking is, okay, McKenna gets 3%. So let's just say, really, Ozzy, chill, dude, chill. So for a $100,000 sale, I get 3% of that sale price, so $3,000. Wow, you get $3,000 to sell a home. Okay, no, 3%, and then with EXP, we actually have one of the higher splits. 20% goes to my broker, 80% goes to me. I'm gonna make another video about this. If you have a referral, either from another agent, it's whatever you guys negotiate. If it's with Opcity, it's 35% of the total commission. I'm sorry, it hurts to say out loud. That's paid to you tax-free, but it's not tax-free, okay? It's paid to you without taxes, but then you have to pay a 30% self-employment tax. And like, I don't even know, a whole bunch of other taxes that I need to get together with a tax accountant, and I'm already getting together all of my business expenses and like categorizing them in an Excel spreadsheet. If you are not doing that, please do that. I use the app iMileage on my phone. You get 40 free drives in a month. I hit that in like 10 days. And so I had to opt for the premium version, which is $60 a year, but then I can track all my miles. So that way I can, you know, write off $10,000 to $15,000 worth of miles at the end of the year, which is gonna be a big help. You are not getting paid until closing day. So guys, I don't know if this is slipping. I'm sorry if it is. Stop. Stop. No. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, everything was slipping, everything was falling, and it's still a little crooked, but we're gonna work with it. So I'm paying for my own gas to drive places and open doors for you. There's different subscriptions that I have to be a part of as a realtor to even open the doors. That's, you know, a yearly subscription. I have to be part of my realtor board. So that is several $100s a year. I have to keep up on my CEUs. That's several $100s a year. And then every single, guys, it's a lot of money that I'm fronting up front. So I'm gonna have to break it down and figure out, because if you're wanting to do this part-time, it's a very expensive hobby, okay? So that's not my journey. I'm here to make money. I gotta make it make sense. So anyhow, so that is how a real estate agent gets paid. We don't get paid till the closing table. You may see the bottom line dollar and be like, oh my gosh, they're just making a killing, but then there's like split, and then Uncle Sam's like, give me my money. You end up walking away with a very little amount, which in EXP, once you have contributed $16,000 to your broker, then you make 100% commission. You pay $250 to your broker for 20 transactions. Then you icon after 20 transactions, which means you get all of your $16,000 that you paid in your commissions to your broker back in EXP stock.
Which, by the way, is like $29 and something cents when it was like penny stock like 7 years ago. So if you're looking for an investment opportunity or you're looking for a brokerage, go ahead and message me down there in the message box, the comment section.
Okay, so that is the total breakdown of all that. So now we're gonna go back to go to Saturday. I'm gonna talk about my first client. Experiences with these people are my experiences, but I'm not here to speak ill of anyone or mention any names. That's not my jam, but I do want to be honest and transparent, and that's what this channel is about. So I have a client. I received them about 2 years ago. I had them as a referral from another client. The situation was that the mother had cash to buy a property, and then once the mother had purchased, then the daughter was going to purchase with a loan. So the cash was not a lot. We're talking like $70,000. The expectations were a lot, which back in like 1995 could have been probably attainable. I don't really know. I was like 4 years old at the time, but it was probably attainable. You know, wanted it to be close to Fort Worth, wanted to have several acres, wanted to have a home. They were used to living in around 2,000 square feet. So, you know, they had a lot of things that they wanted to put. So they wanted to have, you know, square footage to live in, but also have a good condition house, which we all do. That's not, I don't feel like that is an unreasonable thing to request, but on the budget, it's not feasible. Wanted to have, you know, pretty smooth pasture with fencing that was going to be able to contain horses, which I don't know, buildings for the horses, sheds, outbuildings, but ones that, like I said, they wanted to be in close proximity to the city because that's where all family. I told them the unrealisticness of the expectation with the budget, but they still wanted to search. So, what I want to search, y'all. First house that I went and toured for them was about an hour away. They could not see it, and it was like first day on the market, so I knew it was going to go fast. The house was a trailer. It was pretty much falling apart. It was close to the city. It had about 1.5, 2 acres. It was fenced in. The fence wasn't the greatest. The outbuilding was not the greatest. So I sent a video and was immediately told, like, no, this is just too much work. Ain't gonna cut it for me. Told them, you know, with the budget, this is a really good property for the budget, okay? Once again, no. So I said, okay. Property ended up selling, by the way, over asking. So, because what happens is those properties are priced to sell, and then people with cash will go in and pay whatever they need to because they want the land. The land is very expensive around the city. It's really expensive around Fort Worth. Everyone wants to live around Fort Worth and Dallas, and so they're gonna pay premium prices to have acreage and have that country feel, but still be able to get into the city. So then I decided to throw the radius out real far. We ended up going down to Corsicana, which, if you don't know where Corsicana is, it is like south of Dallas. It is 2.5 hours from where I live. It's so far from Fort Worth. But it was going to give them 1.5 acres and a trailer. We ended up getting out there. It was a foreclosure, so they had ripped up all the carpet, all the flooring, and had water damage and all the things. It was a couple grand under budget. I said, you guys, this is good. This is good for your budget. I'm not gonna lie, it was not a good no work property. Like, it's going to take money to put back into the property to make it something that you actually want. but for your budget, like, this is good. No, I'm too close to the neighbors. It needs too much clearing. We don't have fencing. The inside needs too much work. Okay, so I took that criticism, not criticism to me, but like criticism of the property back with me. Opened up the search again. We found something all the way out in Throckmorton. You guys, it's like over halfway to the Wichita Falls, which is like the border of Texas and Oklahoma. The property went up for sale on the first day. They loved it. I explained to them that we need to either go see it right now, but even with going to see it, like, we're losing 2.5 hours. People are bidding on this property. If you want it, you need to put a contract on it, put an option period on it, and then we go see it. And then if you don't like it, you lose your gas, your time, and your option money. We ended up getting in a bidding war for 2 days. I negotiated so hard and did all of the things and ended up getting this property for my clients. Then my clients were upset because they had bid over on the property, but the seller didn't want to pay for a new survey, which the seller did not have a survey because they bought it cash, so they did not have to have a survey. So they were like, hey, if you want a survey, you have to go get one. And they didn't want to pay for a home warranty, which my buyers were upset by because, hey, if we're paying extra money, they should pay for things. And I'm like, that's not how this works. You paid extra money for the property. They still have all the negotiating power because it's a seller's market, okay? But emotions run high. People get upset. It's my job to educate and try to keep everyone on an even keel. Whatever, that was the whole thing. I digress. Ended up going into Saturday. We were supposed to execute the contract, but I told the listing agent, hey, we're gonna go and view the property. She said, okay, I'll hold up on signatures. On the same day, another one of my clients, wanted to buy a duplex so he could real estate hack, which is where he lives in one portion of the property, he rents out the other side, and then essentially the income from the other side supplements enough that he can pay off his mortgage, and then in a year or two, he can lease the property out, he can buy a new property, and then he can just boom, 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 move around and, gather all these income properties. So we viewed the one side. It was okay. I contacted the agent. I said, hey, we're sending you, and we couldn't see the other side because you have to see it with an executed contract because there's tenants. You got to be respectful of their privacy. So I ended up reaching out to the listing agent saying, hey, I'm sending a really strong offer. I know that when you look at it, you're going to love it. We are excited about this opportunity. Which she responded, hey, is it cash or conventional? I said, it's FHA. And she's like, oh, well, the seller only wants cash or conventional. I said, well, that wasn't in the private remarks of the MLS listing. Like, if that was a thing, you would have put only accepting cash and conventional so that I know. But I already showed my guy. We already wrote the offer. I've already presented it. Like, I can't like my guy wants it, so present it. And then if he says the same thing, then we'll walk away. Sent it a couple hours later. She reached out and said, the seller's going to accept your offer. He's not going to do any lender required repairs, and your guy has to buy a survey. Told my dude, he was happy, executed a contract. Saturday was a great freaking day. It was a great day. We ended up getting dressed up. We went to a small gathering. It was one of my husband, well, a family friend, like my husband and I friend, but my husband worked with her. Her daughter was turning 1, so we had a Minnie Mouse party that we went to, and my daughter was so excited. It was a great day, and my buyer in Throckmorton wanted to see her property, so I had to leave early. I drove 5 hours round trip on Saturday night. Saw the property. I could tell by the faces that they had a 22-page inspection report. They knew what they were walking into, but apparently, like, the pictures and the report and then adding and actually seeing the property was just like, oh my gosh. So I ended up getting home, and the listing agent emailed me and said I was going to share for signatures. Did your buyer still want the property? So I ended up calling, and I spoke with the daughter, and the daughter's like, we don't want the property. It needs too much clearing. It's too far. The house needs too much work. There's something called pipe fencing, which was in the front half of the property, but then it went to like stake fencing, and then it had like this really heavy chicken wire. If you're like, I'm not using the right words, I'm sorry. So obviously it's not feasible for, containing animals, containing horses. And then apparently like the neighbor had a fire that was not disclosed to us, which doesn't need to be disclosed to us, but it would have been nice to know, especially when we're driving 2.5 hours, that the neighbor had a fire and a fire truck had to blow through 25 feet of the fence and knock it down to put out the fire and basically save her property. And never fix the fence, and then the owner never fixed the fence, so there's a huge gap in the fence. I mean, we would have had to fix that. And my buyer's like, we don't want it. After I drove 5 hours, after I drove 4.5 hours round trip, after I drove 2 hours round trip. You guys, I'm paying for a babysitter. I'm paying for all of my subscriptions and my fees and my license, everything that's tied to my license. I'm paying for my gas, and it's my time. Because whenever I'm opening these doors for you, I'm not at home prospecting and I'm not helping my other clients so that way I can get to a payday. My heart is big. I try to do all the things for all the people because I treat every single one of my clients as if they were family. And I mean, I've shared with some real estate agents that, you know, I did all of this work for, you know, a $70-some thousand sale, which was gonna like be nothing in a like literally nothing in a paycheck. And you know, I'm telling my clients, like, I can't, I want to, but I can't be driving and doing all of this stuff without getting to the closing table. Like, I am losing money. And then yeah, I get accused of just looking at it like a business, and this is personal. And I'm like, all right, sorry you feel that way. I'm a challenger. I'm not going to tell you that you're right. Like, customer is always right. No, not in real estate. Like, if you come to me with a set of requests and requirements and criteria, and this is what you want, and this is your price tag, I'm not gonna be like, sure, all of your dreams will come true, bibbidi bobbidi boop. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I'll be really honest with you because I don't wanna waste your time. I don't wanna waste my time. I don't wanna waste the listing people's side, the sellers. But some people just know what they're working with and they know what they want, and it just doesn't marry. So I don't know, if you've ever worked with a client like this, like I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to get them to closing table. I know they want to buy a home. I know what the budget they're working with, and I know what they want. I ended up going home. They asked me to change the search to within an hour of Fort Worth. So I did that, as well as I put like a max budget, but I went over their max budget because, you know, I don't want to like miss out on a property that's $1,000 or $2,000 more if that's something you can rustle up and it's going to like be everything you want. And what ended up coming up was like 16 properties that were all condos or trailers, had no acreage, and had between $150 and $550 a month in HOA. Yeah. I flash back to telling them, you guys, like, this is a lot of work, but with your budget and what you want, like, you can make it into something great. And they're like, no, we can find something closer. What do I know? I'm just a real estate agent and literally looking on the MLS, the multiple listing service, every single day. Hello, Mr. Man in a truck. Thanks for making a lot of noise, ruining my moment. And then it's like, don't send for signatures, don't do it. So I ended up saving my people, you know, a $100 option, but what do I know? It's just a business to me. I'm not really trying, I guess. And then with my guy with the duplex, we got contracted. We had 21 days of financing, which means that I delivered his $1,600 of earnest. He was only gonna get his $1,600 of earnest if we fell through on FHA financing because he said no to an option period. Whatever, it's your choice. Like, I'm gonna tell you. But whatever you wanna do, like, I'm gonna do for you, boo. So no option, delivered the earnest money. We could only see the other half of the property once everything was done. Ended up showing up for the inspection. My guy couldn't be there. He had other obligations. We contacted a great inspector in DFW. His name is Brian Fox. Level up. If you're looking for a great inspector, let me know. I'll send you his contact information. I ended up rolling up. He's standing there with his drone and all the things, and he said, listen, you need a structural engineer. And I was like, show me what you're talking about. So he shows me, y'all, the half the property that we did not see, it's like literally with the sound effects. I can't believe people were living there. I can't believe someone was charging people to live there. I can't believe a baby lives there. Like, my heart as a mother is like broken, shattered. Pointed out where we have mold, pointed out where there's possible termite. Now, he's not a termite inspector, and I am not a termite inspector, but I'm like, I think that's termites. Showed me the roof, showed me the foundation. He's like, this is like thousands and thousands and thousands. So I was getting my buyer on the line. And as I'm doing that, this random bro comes up and is like yelling at me, and I'm like, what? Hello, sir. Like, can I help you? He's like, are you the owner? No, I'm the buyer's agent, but can I help you? And he starts talking about how the tenants are using his property to drive through. They had cut into his fence that is on his private property. They had installed a gate. They opened the gate. They drive through the gate to then have, allegedly, crack parties, drug parties, illicit drug parties. Don't come at me, okay? And then the tenants come out and are yelling at him, and he's yelling, and they're yelling over me, and I was like, I'm not about to die today on a Tuesday morning in West Dallas, so I'm out. Grab the phone from the inspector. He's like, we're pulling the plug. They're not charging for the inspection. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I get into the car. I ended up getting a phone call from the neighbor because I passed out my business card. Whatever, you're gonna scream at me. Everybody screams at me. I'm looking for business opportunities. And he calls me, and apparently, like, he's trying to get a hold of the owner, and he's asking me for information. And I was like, sir, I know what you're asking me for. And if I was able to rustle up that information and present that to you, that's possibly my license on the line, which, I mean, is how I'm potentially gonna feed and clothe and college my children. Like, I feel for you. And he's like, yeah, but he's got all these properties. He's got them homesteaded. I'm gonna call the tax appraiser's office, and he's gonna owe back taxes. And I was like, sir, I am a Christian woman. I am a Catholic woman. I believe in working through our problems and prayer and all the wonderful things in life, but I'm Patty. So if a dude wasn't answering my phone calls and you had that kind of information, you just go over to that tax office and you report that, because that is fraud. And so I made sure I called the listing agent, and I started the conversation. This is how I did it, okay? So I called the listing agent, and I said, listen, we just had the inspector in there for like 5 minutes. This property is not gonna cut FHA financing. We do not have an option period. So we are stuck in this property until we get an appraisal, which is gonna tell us what we already know, which is that the property will not pass FHA financing. And at which point, like, then we'll be able to cancel the contract. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But yeah, since you don't have an option period, you can cancel today, and then my seller will keep earnest. Nah, bitch, that's not happening. Like, no, ma'am. My client will pay $550 for an appraisal. It'll take 2 to 3 weeks. We will get the appraisal back, at which time we will cancel the contract, at which time your seller will get $0 earnest money, but he will have lost time. So he could have, instead, what we can do is we can mutually cancel the contract. My guy can save $550 of appraisal. He can keep his $1,600, which he's gonna keep anyway. And then your guy can immediately market the property and have it as an active listing. Also, if he doesn't want to do that and wants to have the appraisal go through and then have it basically show all the things that are wrong with the property, that appraisal is going to hang over his head for 6 months, because FHA and VA stick with the property, which means that it can be used for negotiations with anyone with a conventional or cash loan. Or if he wants to market to VA and FHA, he's got to fix all of it, which is going to be like substantial. So my guy pays $550, he still keeps his $1,600. Your guy loses 2 weeks and has an appraisal over his head, or we mutually decide to part ways. My guy takes his $1,600 still, and your guy can automatically list. And she was like, oh, okay. I don't know if she didn't think that one through, or she didn't think I was gonna think that through. Y'all, I'm always thinking everything. Like I jump to conclusions, so I already thought about this like a week ago. And then I ended the conversation with, hey, just to let you know, your guy's got like an LLC and he's homesteaded a bunch of properties, and so the neighbor's really upset. He's gonna turn him in tax. He's like, oh, she goes, I don't really want to get into the middle of that. I don't want to know anything about tax. And I was like, okay, I get you, but I'm telling you that's like, this is the guy's number, so you can either choose to pass that on to your guy, and it's your fiduciary duty, by the way, to do in the best interest of your client. And if it's in the best interest of your client for him to connect to this guy and fix whatever rift is happening, so that way he doesn't, get turned in for doing lots of illegal things, I feel like you're gonna do him a disservice by not at least handing him the phone number. You don't have to tell him anything, just hand him the phone number. And so she thanked me, and she took it. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm staying out of it. I've done my best. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's how the week ended. That was like a very, very high, and then it went really low. It was terrifying, and I threw up on the ride, and now I'm sitting at the bottom, and I'm sad because I'm starting over. I'm starting over on searches. My person that has the budget and wants to go and have all the things, I'm gonna keep trying to do my best, and at some point something's gotta give. And with the duplex, like, it was a loss, but like I'm feeling good about it because I was able to negotiate and speak on his behalf and work for my client, and save him bukus and save his butt. In which case, like, that's what you're supposed to do as a real estate agent, you guys. It is crazy the amount of work you have to do for nothing. I get nothing for it. But I'm gonna keep doing it because someday it'll turn into something, and someone will recognize, and the transactions will get easier, or the transactions will go smoother. I don't even want easier. It's fine. I don't scare away from a challenge, but something that will go smoother, more predictable. I don't know. Am I asking too much? Make sure to drink your water. This is your PSA of the day. If you watch my Instagram. I got a lot of stuff that I want to accomplish. I speak to a lot of real estate agents, and the failure rate is so obscene. And I don't know if that's because people go into it expecting it to be something, and then it ends up being something that they didn't anticipate. If you want to become a real estate agent, if you are a real estate agent and you're not fitting with your brokerage, or you're needing guidance, reach out to me. I would love to speak to you, to either encourage you or like educate you, so that way you understand what you're coming into. I mean, you're not gonna know until you know. We can talk about opportunities at EXP. I mean, even through all of this, like, if I did not have my EXP team, I don't know, guys, I'd be out. It's hard and it's expensive, and it doesn't fulfill you personally when people, are not appreciating. I've got plenty of people that do appreciate, but it's a very emotional job. I'm having to dig deep into all of my past psychology, social work, mental health, caretaking roots. All the skills are applicable in real estate. So, anyhow, it's getting hot outside. Once again, I'm gonna tell you all the highs and lows. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out. And follow me on my socials, like, interact with me. I love people that love me back. If you're gonna hate, at least make it funny. I need to laugh. Okay, guys, bye.